What is going on, everybody? Going to give everybody a minute to get in. Sheets is going to be here closer to 6:15. It looks like. I did post all of my stuff in the my early builds in the chat and in the premium NBA chat. I posted my bets of the day in there as well and my core plays. Core plays are definitely subject to change as we have a lot of information that's going to be out there that we don't know yet. So getting into it, my two main builds are still the ones that for those of you who are site members, are still the ones that I put up there. If Harden is out, I'm gonna love Embiid tonight. I also really like Luka with no Kyrie, so I'm very, very high on both those spend ups. I also think that assuming that Lillard plays, like this is the thing that we haven't heard anything about Lillard, and I talked about this earlier today. I still think they might shut him down at some point, but you'd think we would have heard by now. So I do think Lillard is another really good spend up. I also really like Anthony Davis, and I like Chris Paul in the mid tier. Like Kristaps a lot as a spend up. So there's a lot of guys to spend up on, but I'm not crazy about Trae Young. So I guess to name it like in order, I think Lillard, Trae Young, Luka, and Embiid are the four best, followed by Davis and Porzingis, or followed by Porzingis, then Davis. I think Anthony Davis is going to be very low owned, and I really like him tonight. I think Anthony Davis is going to put up a big game. So I'm trying to get some of that. There's so many good plays on this slate. I'm not going to say like, no, don't play these guys, don't do these guys. It's much harder to have a narrow pool today than it has been. But again, Trae being the preferred one, Trae along with Lillard, Embiid, Luka, I don't think you're going wrong with any of these guys. And Anthony Davis and Porzingis. Anthony Davis is the lower owned option. I think Embiid, if Harden's out, if Harden's in, I would shift over to Luka being my favorite spend all the way up. Let's talk about some other plays that I'm using that more in the mid tier. Avdia, I like quite a bit. I'm interested a little bit in this Portland situation, so I'm going to have some Sharp, Reddish, and even some Thibault right now. But again, it's mostly just like hoping that other stuff opens up later on. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. David Roddy, I don't feel great about having him like in my main lineups right now, but he is in both of them. I want to see who ends up starting. If he does start, I'm probably going to play him. I'm also going to mix in some Concher and some Aldama. We know Aldama's got a ceiling, so. And I think that you wouldn't even be wrong to get a little bit of Luke Kennard, but you hear it when you say all the names, like there's still enough guys for them to go around. So it's kind of hard to know where those minutes are going to go. Roddy did get the start last time in this situation. I think I will play him if he starts, like I said, but I am totally open to the idea of playing Conchar instead or Kennard. The problem is, I don't know. I think we're getting into like sort of a little bit of danger territory when we get into some of these value plays, which sucks because I love the spend ups. Kyle Lowry is another one you could use. I think his minutes projection is a little bit under what it should be, so I think Lowry's interesting. I didn't mention Damian Lillard. Jimmy Butler, but I really like Jimmy Butler. I'm just having trouble getting him into lineups, but I think this is like this is the kind of spot where we play Jimmy, like tough game against the Knicks at home, not a must win, but sort of that always every game is kind of a little bit must win mode. So I do like Butler, a lot if you want to get off of the other guys that I mentioned, but it's just there's just so many good plays. Other guys I like Xavier Tillman, Bogdanovic. I think he's being underprojected, by the way, Bogdanovic. If he plays, I do like him. If not, I think we want to get like some Sadiq Bey in our lives. And really, the slate is going to be made. We still don't have official word on Halliburton, right? We didn't know word on Halliburton. That could change some things. But I don't think it's the obvious. Hey, we just have to play McConnell. Then it's not been that way. So I'm still not sure even what that's going to do for me entirely. I like Miles Turner as another tournament play at 7,100. But I don't feel like I'm going to end up getting to as much of them as I maybe would have liked to. But yeah, that's sort of the general way I'm building. I'm happy to jump in and start doing the questions because I think that Sheets is going to be here and he'll talk through his process, how he's going to treat this slate. And I will be out of here at 6:30. He'll probably go a little bit later when he shows up at 6:15. So, I mean, you could even use guys like Biyombo tonight. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm not excited about that, but I really like the spend ups, as I mentioned. So I'm using some thinner value than I would prefer. with the Washington situation, the way that it is, I do have some Monty Morris. I haven't gotten a good win in DeLon Wright because the position is so loaded at point guard, and they're only point guard eligible. So I'm okay if you want to use them as thin value. I just am having trouble finding a place for them, to be honest with you. But I really do like Kristaps, Avdia, and Morris in that game. Top spend on FanDuel, it's going to depend on all the stuff I just talked about. So it's probably right now Lillard or Trae Young, to answer Clay's question. But we don't know about Harden yet, so we need to find that out. I guess let me just see real quick. Let me just update my FanDuel stuff. I actually think Luka. No, I think Luka is the best spend up on FanDuel unless Harden's out. Then it's Embiid, and I think Luka and Lillard are probably the two guys that I like. You do have the shooting guard eligibility for Luka, so you can end up using him there, and then using Trae, who I also like at 10K, but he's a little bit better of a play on DraftKings in general, as we know. With Trae, he turns the ball over and he makes threes, so much better for DraftKings than FanDuel. But that's how I've got it. Do I still like Vooch? I think Vooch is totally in play. I just can't seem to get him into my builds because I like too many other plays. But yeah, I mean, Vooch 65, 55, and 48 so far in this matchup this season, and you know it's another spot you could use him, but I don't know how I'm going to get him in, to be honest with you. I just like the other plays a little bit better, but I do think Vooch is completely in play. Has had some good results against Embiid, as we've seen in the past. All right, Avdia on FanDuel. Yeah, I think Avdia is fine, to answer K9's question on FanDuel. And what's up to Joanne and Nick? Kyrie has been ruled out, yes. Anyone in the Heat Knicks games. So I this is another one. There's just so many good plays in the slate. I really like Randall, and even in a bad matchup, the price is right on Jalen Brunson on DraftKings. So Randall and Jalen Brunson, I think, are both solid plays on DraftKings. On Miami side of it, I think that Butler is the best play on their side of it by good ways, and then you can play some Kyle Lowry for the value if you wanted to go that direction. Hardy or Green? I'm not playing Hardy. I'm just going to take a quick look here. I think Green is okay. I prefer Green to Hardy. They're both okay. I probably would lean Green. And those are the kind of plays that could help you win a tournament. So because they're going to be low owned, and these guys do have upside. We've seen it even with one of Kyrie or Luka. It's going to be a little bit worse with Luka than it is with Kyrie, just to be honest, because Luka sort of controls the ball even more than Kyrie does. So one thing that's weird is that they haven't been updating the lineups. Like Kyrie was ruled out, and then I still see him in the projected starting lineup, which is just confusing the hell out of me. But he was ruled out. I think they're okay. I don't love those guys. I mean, to be honest with you, the Green and Hardy, but they are going to be super low owned, so that might be kind of interesting. Also interesting as a very strange play is Christian Wood in that game. But there's just a lot of guys. This is not, I think a mid, so to answer Metal Alloy's question, this is a good question. Is it a stars and scrubs slate, or is it a mid build viable? I like the mid-tier build idea. I just happen to really like the spend ups today, which is, I don't usually like them as much as I do today. I feel like there's really, really good guys to like on the high end, but I definitely think a mid-tier build is totally viable, as our value is certainly questionable at best. I just answered the Josh Green question. I think it's thin, but I think you could take a shot there. It's always got upside. Maxey and Melton are both definitely firmly in play if Harden is out. I would lean Maxey personally as my preferred play. We know that Melton sort of has a range of outcomes, but I don't even know that I'm going to end up getting them. I don't think they're like automatic plug-in plays if Harden's out. I do think that, I guess Melton's 5,400 now on DK. Like, it's a little expensive. I mean, he's been great the last couple of games. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to end up getting to them as much. I think they're both fine for sure, but I'm more on the Embiid side personally. Let's see what else we got here. Guys, keep firing them on in. I'll do my best to answer them, and I will, again, be in premium the rest of the night and getting everything sorted. So I'm looking forward to Sheets joining me in about 5 minutes. In the meantime, happy to answer anything else. Just some ownership I've got of guys. I'm going to end up changing my lineups very, very, very soon. So keep that in mind. But the guys I've got right now, I've got I've got Porzingis like 50%. I've got 30% Avdia. I've got like 30% Monty Morris. I've got like 80% Roddy, which I'm probably going to lower. I also have like 25% Concher, which I'm probably going to end up being around there. I have some Chris Boucher love. Okay, so this is my other, like in my get really thin, why don't we take a shot on guys? Chris Boucher in a game against Indiana that could turn into a blowout. Maybe Boucher leads the blowout charge. He gets double-digit minutes every game anyway, and there's always a ceiling for him, especially in a great matchup. But I think that he's another one you could use a little bit of and take some shots. Love Chris Paul 30%, Anthony Davis 30%, Miles Turner 15%, Luka 25%. I want to get a little higher on Luka. Embiid 50%. Want to get a little. That's counting on Harden being out. And I do like Max. I want to go back to it. I do like Maxey, by the way, with Harden out. I just don't think it's like an automatic play. I have some Jamal Murray, mostly because I have 3 pieces of Houston, and I think he's a very reasonable run back. Probably going to lessen my Murray exposure because I think I've got a little too much of him at the moment. Yeah, I think I do. And I mean, look, if you can try to get Luka and Embiid into your lineups on DK, I think that's awesome. I just think it's really going to be tough. And if you're not going to do that, I also really like Ja, by the way. I don't care what anybody – look, if he comes off the bench, first of all, he's going to be unowned anyway. If he comes off the bench, I'm probably not going to play him, which is kind of stupid because it doesn't really matter that much. But it does make me think maybe they're going to get him back into, like, playing shape. And I know you can practice all you want and be in shape, but at the same time, like, playing in a real game is a little bit harder, but playing against the Rockets is not hard. So I'm kind of all over the place with my Ja take today, but I do think I'm going to end up sucking it up and just taking him at this price, playing him in a lineup with Trae Young in the similar price range. Right now I've got a Ja, Trae Young, Chris Paul, and Anthony Davis, and I don't even want to name the other guys in that lineup. I'm just hoping for a couple hundred from those guys, and then I can figure the rest out from there. Hey, Sheets, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, not much. Just going through what I like, and then people asking questions about the same one. So
I just had a freaking horrible beat in golf. I mean, just horrible. Hate it. Hate golf. Hate DFS. Hate everything.
What happened? I've never seen this.
That's it. Unbelievable.
The most
awesome lineup, and Seamus Power was up freaking 1 on Adam Scott, choked. Then they were just tied going to the 18th, and Adam Scott was 26 feet away, and Seamus Power was 11, and of course Adam Scott makes a 26-footer.
Oh God!
And Seamus misses the 11-footer. And the end of the slate. On to the next one. What's next?
Sorry, man.
Sorry.
What are we doing here? Win his next 2 matches.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So I don't have any Tobias right now. I'm waiting to answer that question. We've got a lot of questions popping in here, so I'm trying to get to all of them. Chris Paul on FanDuel. A lot of people play on FanDuel. I don't really understand. I mean, I understand it. Like, I actually been doing well over there, but like, I don't know. It just feels like a lot more FanDuel questions these days.
I want to change the thing. I still see NCAA Survivor chat.
Oh, I didn't change it. I'm sorry about that. I've been firing along. Players from the Laker game. Yeah, I mentioned Chris Paul and Anthony Davis are my 2 favorites from that game. That was an ugly slate last night. Thanks a lot, Sam. Is Dame a good? I think Dame is. This is what we're going through. Assuming Dame plays, I think he's a tremendous play, and I think he's going to play as of right now because they haven't said anything, and they're in Utah, so we would have some feel about that one. And I think they're going to just like let him just try and go nuts. I guess that's the plan, and I think he's a tremendous play. There's just so many good spend ups. To play anyone at 30% feels funny because obviously Luka and Embiid, if Harden's out, with Kyrie out, Luka I think is a tremendous play. I don't care that he's coming back; it doesn't matter. He's going to play his minutes. And I love Anthony Davis. I love Trae Young. So there's just a lot of guys you got to decide between. It's just really hard for me to say, okay, well I absolutely need to play Damian Lillard when I've got all these other options. Having said that, I do think Lillard is, like, if you're playing cash lineups, I would think Lillard is probably the best spend up of all of them, just because you get a little discount. I personally like Anthony Davis at 150 ownership. I'll take him to outscore Lillard enough of the time here and hope that Portland-Utah game gets kind of ugly maybe. That Utah somehow blows them out. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I'm just sort of thinking out loud here. I really like the spend ups, and I don't love the value today. So that's where I'm struggling today. Sheets. How about
So
you?
Kyrie in, Luka
Wait,
in.
Kyrie's not in, unless
Yeah.
something changed.
Oh, Kyrie out. Sorry, Kyrie
Yeah.
out. Luka in. Oh, I gotta change all this again. I hate this.
Yeah, I don't think you need any Dame narrative.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go. I gotta deal with this. I
Okay.
gotta do all the projections again.
Okay.
I'll do it.